In the enchanting land of Meghalaya, the abode of the clouds, here many rural women are scripting a new chapter of empowerment through their stitching and sewing skills and in partnership with the government. Women have always been at the forefront of domestic and public life in Meghalaya, which practices a matrilineal society. Women's empowerment has always been the focus area for the state.
The women of Meghalaya have been very proactive in making this a self-sustaining unit. They have been structured and organized, where now they are themselves taking the responsibility for the entire supply chain, right from sourcing of raw material, pricing, profitability, marketing, etc.
The USHA Silai School program runs the USHA Silai School Training cum Production Center at Umsing in Ribhoi district of Meghalaya, 30 kilometers away from the state capital Shillong. Here, rural women are not only trained in stitching and sewing, but the center also acts as a production unit. This is a unique partnership with the Meghalaya State Rural Livelihood Society or MSRLS, where the government of Meghalaya has entrusted the Meghalaya State Rural Livelihood Society to collaborate with USHA International Limited for the Silai School program. MSRLS was formed as a state society by the government of Meghalaya as per the guidelines of NRLM, with the idea of creating sustainable livelihood for women.
At that point of time, the USHA Silai from Guwahati, they approached us and then they said they want to start something in collaboration with us. Then immediately we take that opportunity and we gather few of our SSG's members who have already been doing some sewing and stitching in their own houses.
To expertise in some of this skill, I think USHA was the right initiative from USHA Silai. Like we have formation of the self-help group to the level of entrepreneurship. So like giving a training, you can say with a difference.
The big question was, what would the women make at the production center?
We all know about the menace that the single-use plastic has caused to the environment, and especially in this beautiful state of Meghalaya, where we have the rivers and the highways, and we have the marketplace, which are usually very clean, but then because of these single-use plastic, it has really created a mess out of the whole thing, especially to the environment.
Over a period of time, we find that other biodegradable components also are being affected once they are kept in those plastic carry bags. People inconveniently or conveniently, they manage to dispose them off in some drainage system or some waterway, and then we find that it clogs those water bodies as well. And this has been also a reason of a couple of flash floods, because the drains get clogged, and suddenly when we have a shower, the water, instead of flowing through the drains, they find their way into the roads. And that is where we find, in spite of Shillong being a hilly area, we find a lot of places where water clogging takes place during the rainy season. Coming to the point of having these alternative products, so to say, it is quite encouraging news to hear that the Meghalaya Livelihood Rural Society has taken up this initiative in tying up with USHA to come up with alternative carry bags which are more environmental friendly, and at the same time looking at the gender issue, empowering of women.
As a pilot project, the government set up 2 production centers in 2 different districts of Meghalaya to train women entrepreneurs in bag making in association with USHA International. Government functionaries say this has had a double benefit. On the one hand, it helps the plastic ban. On the other hand, provides livelihood.
We have seen the women, they are very enthused in learning the skills, because from USHA Silai, not only they teach them skills for stitching, they also engage some designer
When I was approached by USHA company to meet these women, it just goes back to the same kind of work that we've been doing with these weavers. So the part that I come in as a designer is to help these women upgrade the skills in terms of finishing while working with the garments, coming up with different techniques of stitching. We've spoken about also training them when it comes to embroidery. And so I feel like by doing that, it will not only better their skills, but also help them find a better market, a bigger market for their products.
At the USHA Silai School, initially 28 women from 8 different villages were selected for training. USHA conducted a 15-day training on drafting, cutting and stitching of bags. Altogether, 9 different designs of bags were taught during the training. Most of the women are now working in the production centres and are able to contribute to their family income. There is already one exciting successful story among those who got trained in the Umsing Training Cum Production Centre. 41-year-old Rejlin Varjri is the mother of 7, 5 daughters and 2 sons. Her husband is a daily wage labour.
Posnam na krasnam punta. Tengala sedang sujain te mentala nyusnam prasnam. Te mensua te por bangan patnang sujain te susu kumtum lumalaken lagi jain repairing e kumtu. Te hadian tu kadon training te po USHA te po blok te ngali training te blok te ban supla te lawan training e nang tu ngalanang ngalakam ken ban su pla su e long akam yo sibun kejeng toy amar ba men tu bala dapat te nga susu pe tinggi jang ini jain repairing sudah. Tenadu ba ngalawan training nang te napo blok te ngala kam sngu im sibun ken namar ba ngam su sudah te tangki jain repair tinggal ngelala bentuk kini ki pelah ki su mas ki kat bawan ai ki beri kum tu long ngelala kan bantre te long menta tinggal kamla ban pak school kon long kamla te hayeng stemrol a kam biang kan namar bangi lai belalang temu paru te nadu banga ayo kena sertifikat hi kala kam biang kata.
The production centre played a key role during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown by producing the mandatory cloth masks.
Gradually, more and more women are also joining this production unit where they are being trained by the existing women. And the good thing is that during this pandemic, not only did they make cloth bags, but also a lot of cloth masks were made by them as per the demand and need of the market.
At that point of time, as you know, our district is the entry point to the state. We had to give, these masks. People were not ready with masks. Production was not there in the market. We can't get these the type of mask that I'm wearing now, and there was not there in the market. Everything was exhausted. More than 4-5 lakhs of these masks, face masks, were stitched and were distributed to the public. So I'm telling you, it's a big blessing for the state, and we won't, if I may say so, every passer by, every traveller who had entered our state had received these handmade face masks.
As a measure to enhance the income of the women of the production centre, USHA collaborated with the Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation of India.
TriFed is an organization which works for marketing the wonderful products that rural artisans, especially tribals, produce all over the country. We are mandated to provide branding, marketing, design elements in the heritage craft of our tribal artisans, master craftsmen. and I can tell you they are amongst the best in the world. What they can do is production. What they cannot do is market. So TriFed supports them in providing them access to large markets. If you don't have access to large markets, what happens? You have to sell low. You have to sell at very low prices. So this is an entrepreneurship development program where 1 lakh ladies will be assured marketing, assured design input, assured state-of-the-art other facilities, and USHA and Sriram are a very strong corporate entity in themselves. So TriFed is very happy to collaborate with them for this social cause.
Apart from this collaboration with USHA, TriFed has a roadmap ready for the tribals of India.
We have a MOU going with the Ministry of Small Scale Enterprises, and the Sfurti program, TriFed is an agency. So we are setting up clusters of 300 tribal artisans, give them the necessary skills to produce value add, brand, package and market. And we are planning to set up almost 50,000 such self-help groups in the country, and then back it up with a tri-food chain of production factories, which will be wholly manned by professionals, and marketing and production will be manned by professionals. So the Vandhan Tri-Food scheme is a scheme through which we hope to get about 50 lakh people into enterprise. So जो कहते हैं मेरा वन, मेरा धन, मेरा उद्यम. So from livelihoods we want to get into a enterprise mode of development and employment generation and addition to income.
USHA and its partners are helping shape the future of many women. At the same time, they are also creating sustainable products like the cloth bags as an alternative to plastic bags. So the initiative is helping create a cleaner environment. In 2018, USHA International Limited UIL and West Bengal SC/ST OBC Finance and Development Corporation collaborated to train women from marginalized communities, and then the opening of Silai Schools.
Working with the West Bengal government through our association with West Bengal SC/ST and OBC Development Finance Corporation has been a very enriching and rewarding experience for us, as through this partnership we were able to reach out to the most marginalized women in more than 238 blocks across 22 districts of West Bengal and help them set up their own USHA Silai schools.
Seeing the impact and after due validation by the government, USHA International Limited and West Bengal Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Finance Development Corporation set up 29 more Silai schools across the villages near Bongaon, which is around 130 kilometers from Kolkata and only 20 kilometers from the current busiest international checkpoint border of India called Petropol in India and Binapol in Bangladesh. Jyotsna lives with her 2 daughters, her husband Jagdish and in-laws in her village. She never imagined that the USHA Silai School program would come to her doorstep and change her life.
আমাদের আর্থিক অবস্থা ভালো ছিল না, আমার স্বামীর তেমন ইনকাম নেই, তার জন্য আমি যাতে সেলাই শিখে 2 পয়সা ইনকাম করে মেয়ের যাতে পড়ার পেছনে খরচা করতে পারি, তার জন্য আমি সেলাইটা শেখার জন্য আগ্রহ হয়েছিলাম। সেটা ছিল আমার স্বামীর সেরকম ইনকাম ছিল না, এবার আমার মেয়ে পড়াশোনা করে, তার জন্য টাকা লাগবে, পয়সা লাগবে, এবার স্বামী সেটা পূরণ করতে পারে না, তার জন্য আমি জানলাম যে সেলাই শিখলে আমি স্বামীর পাশে একটু দাঁড়াতে পারবো আর আমার মেয়ের পেছনে কিছু হেল্প করতে পারবো, সেই কারণে আমি সেলাইটা শিখেছি। যারা আমার কাছে শিখতে আসে তারাও খুব পারিবারিক অবস্থা ভালো না, তারা সবাই মাঠে খাটে, কেন কি লকডাউনের জন্য ওদেরও পরিস্থিতি খুব খারাপ, ওরাও তেমন কাজকর্ম করতে পারছে না। আগে আমার পরিস্থিতি সেরকম ভালো ছিল না, আমি এখন একটু সেলাই শিখেছি, সেলাই শিখে আমি 2 পয়সা ইনকাম করছি এবং আমি সংসারের কাজে লাগাতে পারছি, আমার ছেলে মেয়ের পড়াশোনার খরচা করতে পারছি এবং আমার ভালো লাগছে। এবার আমি যাতে আরও ভালো হয়, আরও ভালোভাবে এটা শিখতে পারি, সেটাই আমার ইচ্ছা। আর আমার বড় হওয়ার খুব ইচ্ছা, আপনারা যদি আমার মাথার উপরে থাকেন তাহলে আমি আরও দূরে এগিয়ে যেতে পারবো।
The income range has featured from 750 to 7,500. The maximum learner's fee has gone up to 1,600 of Saraswati Kids School in Mednipur district. So what we have seen is that usually the women have in the 3 districts, for example Hooghly, South 24 Parganas where stitching and sewing is very popular, as well as in Bardhaman the income level of average women has crossed more than 2,000-2,500 rupees in a very short span of time, even during the time of lockdown as well as during the time of Amphan hit.
In another part of the state, 24 South Parganas, the USHA Silai School gave hope to Sushmita Saha at a time when her life was full of sorrow.
4 বছর বিয়ের পরে একটা বাচ্চা হয়েছিল, 3 বছরের মাথায় মেয়ে আছে, এবার সেখানে অত্যাচার করতে প্রচুর। আমার মেয়ে এখান থেকে যেত না, 5 মাস তো ছিল, ফোন করে তাকে বুঝিয়ে নিয়ে গিয়েছিল, তার 1 মাস হয়নি স্যার মেরে দিয়েছে। আমার মেয়ে মারা যাওয়ার পরে মেন্টাল যে প্রবলেম ছিল, আমার হাজব্যান্ড উৎসাহ দিল যে সেলাই স্কুলে ওই ভিডিও থেকে পাঠালো, ফোন করেছিল যাওয়ার জন্য, ওখানে গেলাম, ওখান থেকে সেলাই শিখে 6 মাস যে ট্রেনিং দেওয়ার জন্য ওখানে দিয়ে ওখান থেকে একটু মেন্টালটা ঠিক হয়েছিল। আমার মেন্টাল খুব প্রবলেম ছিল, তাই জন্য। আমি জানুয়ারি মাস থেকে উষা স্কুলটা চালু করেছিলাম। ওখানে এই আমফান ঝড়ে উড়ে গেছে চালটা উড়ে যাওয়ার পরে আমি বাড়িতে মেশিনগুলো নিয়ে এসে সবাইকে মেয়েদের প্রশিক্ষণ দেওয়াচ্ছি, ছোট জায়গা একটু করলে ভালো হয়, যাতে উন্নতি করতে পারি, আরও একটু ভালো করে বড় করে স্কুল করতে পারি, ওটা যদি কিছু করতে পারি। একটা মেশিন থেকে তো আর একটা মেশিন কিনেছি, আর পুরানো মেশিন একটা ছিল, আর ওই মেশিনটা একটা উষা থেকে একটা মেশিন পেয়েছি, উষা থেকে একটা মেশিন পেয়ে আর একটা মেশিন কিনেছিলাম। ওই পরিবর্তন, আর মেয়ের তো মাসে মাসে এই মহিলাদের থেকে উপার্জন করে মেয়ের মাসে 2টো টিউশানি আছে, টিউশানি মাইনে টাইনে দিতে হয়। আমি ছোট মেয়েকে স্বনির্ভর করে, আর আমি স্বনির্ভর তো হয়েছি, আর আমার ছোট মেয়েকে আরও স্বনির্ভর করে আমি দাঁড় করাতে চাই।